You are sitting at a dinner table surrounded by friends or family, and the conversation is flowing normally. People are laughing, glasses are clinking, and the atmosphere feels light. Then, someone tells a story. It is a harmless anecdote, maybe about a promotion at work or a recent vacation. Everyone else at the table nods and smiles, accepting the story at face value. But you feel a sudden, sharp drop in your stomach. It is a physical sensation, cold and heavy, like swallowing a stone. You look at the person speaking, and the skin around their eyes looks tight to you. Their voice sounds hollow, lacking a specific resonance that only you seem to miss. You know, with absolute, terrifying certainty, that they are lying. You do not have proof. You have not checked their emails or their bank accounts. But the biological alarm system in your chest is screaming so loud it almost drowns out the conversation. You stay silent, sipping your drink, but your eyes lock onto theirs for a fraction of a second too long. They stutter. They lose their train of thought. They look away nervously. You have just shifted the entire energy of the room without saying a single word. This is the danger you present to the world. You are a walking, breathing lie detector that cannot be turned off. And for people who live in the comfort of their own illusions, you are the most terrifying thing they will ever encounter. I am Madam Tina. For over 20 years, I have worked as a professional astrologer and spiritual advisor, sitting across from thousands of clients who feel like they are carrying a burden too heavy for one lifetime. I have studied the charts of powerful CEOs, secretive artists, and mothers who hold their families together through sheer will. I have seen how the stars imprint a specific destiny on the soul. And I am here to tell you that the reputation of Scorpio as the dangerous sign is not a myth, but it is also not what you think it is. You are not dangerous because you are malicious. You are dangerous because you are real. In a world built on polite interactions and social masks, authenticity is a weapon. I am here to explain exactly why your energy triggers such primal reactions in others, and how you can stop apologizing for the power you were born with. Most people move through life skimming the surface. They are happy with small talk. They are content with half-truths, and they prefer to ignore the darker, messier parts of the human experience. You do not have that luxury. If you were born between October 23rd and November 21st, you were born with a psychological X-ray vision that penetrates through bone and spirit. This is the first reason you are considered dangerous. You strip people naked just by looking at them. When someone meets you, even if you are being perfectly polite, they feel a subconscious pressure to confess. Have you noticed this? Strangers on airplanes tell you about their affairs. Co-workers you barely know cry in front of you in the break room. You are a vessel for the truth that others are too afraid to voice. This ability creates a very specific dynamic in your relationships. People are either magnetically drawn to you because they crave that depth, or they are repelled by you because they are hiding something. There is no middle ground with a Scorpio. You trigger the survival instinct in others. When a person is living a lie, whether they are lying to their spouse, their boss, or themselves, your presence feels like a threat. They might call you intense, moody, or difficult, but those are just defense mechanisms. What they really mean is that they feel exposed. You see the cracks in their foundation before the house even starts to shake. The danger you pose is the danger of transformation. You are the sign of death and rebirth. You are the forest fire that burns down the dead wood so that new life can grow. This is a painful process. Most people cling to their dead wood. They cling to bad marriages, dead-end jobs, and toxic friendships because they are afraid of the unknown. You are the agent of change that forces them to let go. When you enter someone's life, the clock starts ticking on everything that is false. If their relationship is weak, you will inadvertently test it. If their career is unfulfilling, your ambition will shine a light on their stagnation. You are not doing this on purpose. It is simply the radiation of your core energy. You accelerate the inevitable. Consider the immense power of your silence. In a negotiation, an argument, or a seduction, you know that the person who speaks first loses. You are a master of the pause. While other signs, like Gemini or Leo, feel the need to fill the air with noise to assert their dominance, you assert control by withholding. You sit back. You observe. You let the other person spin their wheels until they are exhausted, and then you make your move. This tactical patience is unnerving to others. They project their own fears into your silence. They wonder what you are planning, what you know, and what you are going to do next. Half the time, you aren't planning anything malicious at all. You are just watching. But the fear of the scorpion's sting is often more powerful than the sting itself. You occupy real estate in people's minds without paying rent. They think about you long after you have left the room, analyzing your glances and dissecting your few words, wondering if they passed your test. There is a distinct difference between physical strength and spiritual stamina, and you possess the latter in quantities that would crush a normal person. Think about the last time a crisis hit your family or your workplace. While everyone else was running around in a panic, screaming, crying, or freezing in fear, a strange calm washed over you. It is as if your heart rate actually slowed down while the world was burning. This is the first responder instinct of your sign. You are comfortable in the dark. You were built for the trenches. When things are going well, you might feel bored or restless, picking fights just to feel something real. But when disaster strikes, you snap into focus. You become the general. You become the surgeon. You take control with a cold, precise efficiency that saves the day. This ability to thrive in chaos is another reason why you are viewed as dangerous. People look at you during these moments, and they see someone who is almost too capable. They wonder how you can look at blood, betrayal, or financial ruin without blinking. They don't understand that you have already rehearsed this tragedy 1,000 times in your head. You live in a state of constant preparation. You are always scanning the exits, always assessing the threats, always waiting for the other shoe to drop. So when it finally does drop, you are not surprised. You are relieved. Finally, the external world matches your internal landscape. However, this resilience comes with a heavy price tag. Because you are the strong one, the rock, the one who never breaks, people forget that you bleed. They dump their toxic waste onto you. They use you as their therapist, their protector, and their fixer, but they rarely ask how you are doing. You absorb their pain. You transmute it. You take their sadness and you swallow it whole, digesting it so they don't have to. This is a form of energy manipulation that is borderline magical. You are a psychic filter for the people you love, but if you are not careful, this toxicity builds up in your system. This is where the legendary Scorpio venom comes from. It is not malice, it is overflow. When you hold on to too much of other people's garbage, you eventually have to purge it, or it will poison you. The danger here is that you can become addicted to the intensity. You might find yourself subconsciously creating problems just so you can fix them. You might attract broken partners because you need a project, someone to resurrect. You see the potential in people, not the reality. You fall in love with who they could be if they survived the fire, not who they are right now. And when they refuse to walk through the fire with you, when they choose to stay small and safe, you feel a betrayal that cuts to the bone. You don't just want a partner, you want a soul merger. You want to consume and be consumed. Anything less feels like a waste of time. This demand for absolute loyalty is terrifying to signs that need freedom and lightness. You treat relationships like blood pacts. To you, a promise is binding forever. If someone betrays you, you don't just get angry. You fundamentally rewrite your history with them. You can cut someone off with a surgical precision that leaves them wondering if you ever loved them at all. You can turn your heart to ice in a second if your trust is violated. It is a defense mechanism, a steel door slamming shut to protect the soft, raw creature living inside your shell. But let's look at the healing aspect of this power. Because you are not afraid of pain, you are the best healer in the Zodiac. You can sit with a grieving friend in the darkest hole of depression and not try to cheer them up. You just sit there with them, holding their hand in the dark, validating their pain. You know that the only way out is through. You guide people through their own underworlds. You are the midwife of the soul, helping people birth new versions of themselves. This is a dangerous work because it requires getting your hands dirty. It requires intimacy that is uncomfortable. But you do it because you know that life is meaningless without deep connection. If you are listening to this and feeling a resonance in your chest, If you feel like I am describing the secret life you have been living behind your guarded expression, I want to invite you into our circle. We are building a community here for the people who feel too deeply and see too much. It is a lonely road to walk by yourself. Click that subscribe button right now. It is a small action, but it is a signal that you are ready to stop hiding your nature and start mastering it. Join us, and let's stop pretending we are shallow. Let's dive into the deep end together. We need to discuss the unspoken method of control you exert over your reality, which is often described as magnetic, but is actually something far more potent. It is the power of obsession harnessed as a fuel source. When you fixate on a goal, a person, or an outcome, you do not just want it. You generate a gravitational field around it. You pull it toward you with a psychic force that bends probability. Have you ever noticed that when you truly, deeply focus on someone, they text you? Or when you decide, with every fiber of your being, that you are going to get a specific job, obstacles just seem to dissolve? This is not luck. This is the sheer force of your will imposing itself on the material world. People feel this pull, and for some, it is overwhelming. They feel your attention on them like a physical touch, even if you are across the room or across the city. This is why Scorpios are often accused of being controlling. You don't necessarily want to control people's actions, that's too much work, but you absolutely want to control the emotional narrative. You need to know where you stand. You need to know the secrets. You need to know the ending of the movie before it starts. This need for control is rooted in a deep, ancient fear of being blindsided. If you control the information, you cannot be hurt. If you are the most powerful person in the room, you cannot be victimized. This brings us to the telepathic web you spin. You are constantly reading the emotional currents of your environment. You know when your partner is pulling away weeks before they say the words. You know when a friend is jealous of your success even while they are congratulating you. You hear what is not being said. This makes you nearly impossible to lie to, but it also makes you paranoid. Sometimes you pick up on fleeting thoughts or temporary moods and mistake them for permanent truths. You might lash out at someone for a thought they had, not an action they took. This is the danger of being too tuned in. You react to the psychic signal before the physical event has happened. Let's talk about the specific nuances based on when you were born, because a Scorpio born in October wields this weapon differently than one born in November. If you are an October Scorpio, you use this psychic insight for strategy. You are the chess player. You use your knowledge of human nature to navigate social ladders and secure your safety. You are more vocal, more social, but your eyes are always scanning. You seduce the world into giving you what you want. If you are a November Scorpio, particularly those born in the second or third decan, your power is more raw and subterranean. You are the alchemist. You do not care about social ladders, you care about absolute truth. Your gaze is heavier. You are less likely to play the game and more likely to flip the board over if you sense unfairness. You have a connection to the other side that is stronger. You might have prophetic dreams or instances of déjà vu that are disorienting. You walk with one foot in the living world and one foot in the shadow realm. This gives you a mystique that scares people who are grounded only in the material world. They look at you and see something ancient looking back. The most dangerous aspect of your influence is your ability to dismantle egos. When someone arrogant crosses your path, you have a unique way of taking them down a notch without raising your voice. You can deliver a single sentence, a precise observation about their insecurity that shatters their confidence. You know exactly where the armor is weak. You know exactly which button to press to cause the maximum amount of psychological damage. Most of the time, you show mercy. You keep that weapon sheathed. But the fact that you have it and that people sense you could use it keeps them on edge. This is why powerful people, politicians, business leaders, other dominant personalities, often clash with you instantly. They recognize a fellow apex predator. They know they cannot manipulate you. You are unbrainwashable. You question everything. You dig until you hit the bedrock of truth. In a world of followers, you are a sovereign state. You answer only to your own moral code, which is strict, unyielding, and often completely different from the laws of society. You will break a rule to save a person, but you will never break your word. This fierce independence makes you a threat to any system that relies on blind obedience. You are the rebel who doesn't need a protest sign. You just need to look the authority figure in the eye and refuse to blink. Ultimately, the reason you are the most dangerous sign is that you force evolution. You are the cosmic pressure cooker. Carbon does not turn into a diamond by sitting on a beach sipping a cocktail. It becomes a diamond under crushing weight and intense heat. You provide that heat. When you love someone, you love them with such ferocity that they are forced to grow up. You demand their best self. You do not tolerate mediocrity, laziness, or emotional cowardice. For a partner who wants to stay a child, this is a nightmare. They will call you demanding. They will say you are impossible to please. But for a partner who wants to be a king or a queen, you are the greatest gift they will ever receive. You will push them harder than anyone else, but you will also believe in them more than they believe in themselves. This is the hidden blessing of the Scorpion. You see the potential for greatness in people who have given up on themselves. You are the one who looks at a ruin and sees a castle. You are the one who looks at a tragedy and sees a lesson. You have the ability to regenerate not just yourself, but everyone around you. You are the resurrection artist. How many times have you reinvented yourself? How many times has your life fallen apart? Divorce, job loss, illness, and you didn't just survive, you came back stronger, smarter, and more powerful. Most people are terrified of hitting rock bottom. You know that rock bottom is just a solid foundation to build on. This lack of fear regarding the end of things is your superpower. You know that every ending is a new beginning. You know that death is just a doorway. This gives you a fearlessness that is intimidating. You can walk away from a job, a relationship, or a lifestyle without looking back because you trust your ability to rebuild from scratch. You are self-regenerating energy. The world calls you dangerous because you cannot be controlled by fear. You have faced your own demons, wrestled them in the dark, and made them your servants. A person who has conquered their own shadow is invincible. You know your own capacity for darkness, which means you don't have to pretend to be a saint. You accept your full spectrum, the light and the dark, the saint and the sinner. This wholeness is what people are truly afraid of. They are afraid of their own shadow, and when they look at you, they see it reflected back. So, embrace the label. Be dangerous. Be dangerous to the liars. Be dangerous to the manipulators. Be dangerous to the stagnant systems and the fake smiles. Your danger is a form of protection. It is a boundary that keeps the sacred separate from the profane. You are the guardian of deep emotions in a shallow world. You are the keeper of secrets. You are the one who stands at the gate of life and death and does not tremble. Do not let anyone tell you to soften your edges. Do not let them tell you to lighten up. Your gravity is what holds the people you love in orbit. Your intensity is the fire that keeps them warm. You were designed by the cosmos to be exactly this heavy, exactly this deep, and exactly this powerful. I want to ask you a question, and I want you to be honest with me and with yourself. When was the last time you felt the need to apologize for your intensity? When was the last time you dimmed your light to make someone else comfortable? I want you to go down to the comments section right now and tell me about a time your gut instinct saved you, or a time you saw the truth when everyone else was blind. Share your story. Whether it is a story of betrayal or a story of triumph, write it down. Your words might be the exact signal another Scorpio needs to see today to feel less alone. We read the comments and we feel the energy you put into them. And if you are ready to understand why certain patterns keep repeating in your life, why you keep attracting the same kind of souls, you need to watch the video that is appearing on your screen right now. It dives into the karmic contracts you signed before you were even born. Click it, and let's keep digging for the truth.